Divisional round wrapped up Sunday with two absolute bangers: Detroit versus Tampa, Kansas City versus Buffalo, and now we're on to the conference championships, and more of the draft order has been solidified. So let's go ahead. Let's have some fun. Let's do a mock draft. Yeah, we're going to have trades in it, but we're not going to have a trade at number one. We're taking Caleb Williams. I don't think this pick's going to change a lot for me until the Bears prove otherwise via the offseason. I think they're probably going to move Justin Fields prior to the draft, and they're going to go ahead and reset that rookie contract at the quarterback position, use that capital to just get better players around, well, their new franchise quarterback. So we're going to take the toolsiest guy in this draft. They will be getting a new OC. Maybe it's Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know, but hey, we got Caleb Williams. Washington, this pick's not changing. They're in good shape to basically get QB2, whoever the Bears or whoever is picking at one when it's all said and done, whoever they don't take, Washington will likely take the next guy, being Drake May. Great size, great arm. So Sam Howell, once again, it's going to be succeeded by Drake May. And this is where I want to do things a little bit more fun. I got a plan for the Patriots. Is it going to be the plan they use? Probably not. But I'm going to go ahead and just take the best player in the draft, and then maybe see what I can do at the back end if the quarterback position falls. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. because wide receiver has been a problem. Yeah, it'd be nice to get a quarterback on a rookie deal, 5th-year option, but it is what it is. Let's just go ahead, take the best player. Maybe they sign Kirk Cousins. Like, free agency is going to be a thing. Justin Fields is out there. Russell Wilson is likely going to be out there. Geno Smith could be moved. Like, I don't think the Patriots have to settle for quarterback 3 if they don't want to. Now, we're sitting here at pick 4. The Patriots passed on quarterback. This enables the Cardinals to move down if they want. See, okay, who wants quarterback 3 in this class? Quarterback 3, anybody? So let's go ahead and get a buyer in the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I'm going to trade pick 11. I'm also going to trade pick 43 in this draft. And then I'm going to trade next year's 1st and next year's 3rd to move up to pick 4 for the Minnesota Vikings. And we're going to go ahead and take Jaden Daniels to be the new quarterback of the future. Well, there we go. Quarterback of the future there for the Minnesota Vikings, which is great, man. The Chargers, they would love if Malik Neighbors would just sit in here. Like, man, yes, more passing options for Justin Herbert. Yes, please. Now you got Malik Neighbors. You're hoping Quentin Johnston will play better than he did this past year. You're likely going to move on from a lot of your bigger contracts. Mike Williams feels like a guarantee, maybe even Keenan Allen, but you're getting younger at the wide receiver position. You're surrounding your now newly paid franchise quarterback with young receiving options. New York Giants. Now, with Neighbors off the board, I'm like, man, and shoot, even Jaden Daniels, I'm like, I guess this pick is tackle. Or I could do something I like that I saw Daniel Jeremiah do, kind of, sort of. He went ahead and said, because, side note, I couldn't find a sexy trade-up target here. Like, if we're going to move from this spot, there's always got to be a buyer, a team that wants to move up and wants to move up for the right price. I couldn't find that. Believe me, I went through every pick trying to find trades if I didn't like what was on the board. But I'm, again, going back to what Daniel Jeremiah did, where he had three wide receivers go in the top 6. And we're going to do it here. We're going to take Rome Odunze to complete that wide receiver core. I have a blue chip grade on Rome Odunze, so he should be considered for pick 6. If they say they believe in Daniel Jones, they say they believe in Evan Neal, then get receiving help. That should be should be a given at that point. Should be like, okay, we're cool with our right tackle position. If we're okay with the quarterback position, yeah, sure, we'll look at other options at quarterback, but we're not going to do it here in the first round. Then go grab a receiver, get better pass catchers. So we're going to go ahead and do that there. Tennessee tight ends. Listen, I'm staring down OT1. How can I pass up when their offensive line was just so bad? How can I pass up Joe Alt? I simply can't. So I won't. So I'm going to snag him here. Atlanta Falcons. I'm not going to take quarterback 4 here. I don't think we're going to see 3 quarterback, or I don't think we're going to see 4 quarterbacks or more go in the top 10. I just don't think that'll be the case for this class. Which means I'm not picking quarterback here. They could go the Justin Fields route. They could, like Geno Smith has been talked about. Maybe now that looks like Seattle, they're going to be there. Pete Carroll already stepped away. You had members of the coaching staff being available now to interview for other jobs elsewhere. So, I mean, I don't really like Geno Smith probably could be a trade option. Could be. So, same possible landing spots. Quarterback, just because you don't get one here in the first round, it's not the end all be all. So instead, I'm going to jump to the defense. I'm going to go ahead, get my first pick of whatever defensive prospect I want. I had a very interesting conversation in the comments. I forgot which video. It was probably a mock draft video of, Dallas Turner's like the perfect fit for Atlanta because he can cover. And it's like Arnold Ebiketie had like 70-some coverage snaps. Not a lot. Still a decent amount for an edge player, but still not a lot. They don't ask their edge rushers to go out in coverage a ton. So it's not going to be big on their like to-do list. They're going to take whoever they have as the best pass rusher. I'm between Dallas Turner. I'm between Jared Verse. I think you can make great arguments though that Dallas Turner might be a better fit. I'm okay with that. I'm going to take him here. For me, I mean, those are 2 really good players. But before we get to pick 9, I got a draft guide. If you want to know more about the draft, you want to know more about these prospects, then hey, check out my draft guide. Don't take it from me, but take it from me. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. Pick 9, Chicago Bears. I could go Jared Verse. I go Jared Verse all the time. Or I could be fun. I could do something different. It would be nice if Rome Odunze was here, but he is not. So what if Justin Fields isn't the only piece that they decide to move? What if they're sitting here and they're like, you know what? Only one offensive tackle's been taken. Maybe we could move Braxton Jones. Like, should be good enough to get us a day 2 pick. Maybe not a second rounder, but maybe a third rounder. We could probably move off from him and get decent value, at the very least, out of it. And let's just take Olu Fashanu. So we're going to go with that scenario here. I'm going to snag Olu Fashanu for the Chicago Bears, which sucks. Sucks for the Jets, man. No Rome Odunze. No OT1, no OT2. You could go OT3 here. I don't think that's out of the cards. Whether that's Tilanisa Fuaga, JC Latham, maybe even Amarius Mims. Brock Bowers, though, sitting here, just looking me dead in my eyes. I'm going to take Brock Bowers. He's going to help the block in. Maybe not from a pass standpoint, which he could, but then that's a waste. This guy's a phenomenal receiver. Go let him be a pass catcher. But when it comes to the run game, which, hey, offensive line run game, sucked. Breece Hall was literally given nothing to work with. But once you saw that dude out in open space, yeah, he was a good receiver. Imagine if you gave him that kind of room in the run game. Bowers will help that. go in free agency, see if you can get some bargain options along the offensive line, because I know they don't have a second round pick. You could do a trade down spot as well. It was just there was no one I wanted to really trade up for any of these other teams, so I was kind of stuck picking here. So I'm going to take Brock Bowers. Pick 11, Arizona Cardinals. We moved back. We grabbed that extra draft capital. Just saw the top edge seemingly come off the board. We can make a case for Jared Verse here. I think that's fine. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I thought about Byron Murphy because I think he's that ridiculous on the interior. But I'm going to go with Cooper DeJean. He's currently my top corner. He's another guy who's just a really, really good athlete, going to test out really well. I see him as an outside corner, and that's a big need right now for the Cardinals. So we're going to go ahead and snag him here. We'll see what we got to work with later on. Denver Broncos. Listen, Russell Wilson ain't coming back. They need to have a plan B, and I imagine that plan B has to happen through the draft. I really, really do. I was like looking at the draft capital, and like Denver doesn't really have a lot to work with in terms of draft capital to move up. So I feel like they're probably just going to sit here and take Bo Nix. They're going to be really okay with Bo Nix. Like Bo Nix looks like a Sean Payton type of quarterback. He just does. Takes care of the football. Perfect. Gives him will plus athleticism as well. I like it. He loves these guys that just can go out, process the field, go through one or two reads, and consistently make the right decisions. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Bo Nix there. I, again, don't really know what else to do with the Broncos here at 12 since it looks like Russ is probably not coming back. Or maybe he is. Who knows? Las Vegas Raiders. Oh man, I thought about this one and ultimately I settled on, man, I'm really pushing this guy upwards. I'm really like, hey, get used to hearing this guy's name in like in the first round. Get used to hearing this guy's name in the top 20. Get used to hearing this guy's name in the top 15. They got a lot of free agents on the interior. I know people are going like, Tyree Wilson played really well on the interior, but large portion of his snaps came on the outside. They're looking at him as an edge player. They're developing him as an edge player. So you're gonna have to do something with the interior. Adam Butler, probably the best player on the interior. He's a free agent. I think what was it, Jerry Tillery? He's probably a free agent. He's kind of just been a mercenary at this point. Not a very good one, but an all right one. He was solid enough this year. So I'm going to go with Byron Murphy, man. I love this cat. I'm a big fan. He's my defensive interior one. New Orleans Saints, as long as like drafts keep shaking out here for me. And I mean, it's a really good tackle class. I think tackle is just probably the biggest need right now for the Saints. You got Ryan Ramczyk. You don't know what his football future looks like. You got Trevor Pennon, who just didn't look good this year. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to snag J.C. Latham. That dude be big and he be good. He was good ever since that Texas game. But even then, wasn't a bad game by him. He's got size. He moves so well at that size. Yep. Saints like them tall, big boys. Shoot, they had Andreas Pete playing center for how long? So long. Feels like a decade. They like tall offensive linemen. All right, I'm here with the Colts, and we're actually going to see another trade here. And this is what's going through my mind for the Colts. I'm like, okay, I really want a corner in this class. Only one corner's off the board. I could probably move down and still be pretty happy with whatever corner is left with me while grabbing extra draft capital. Plus, I mean, that's a Colts thing. They love grabbing extra draft capital. So we're actually going to do a trade here. It's actually going to be with the Cincinnati Bengals. So Colts are going to trade 15. The Bengals are going to give up not only pick 18, but pick 118. So their fourth rounder to move up 3 spots. Bada bing, bada boom. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. We just saw one tackle off the board. Let's go ahead, trade up, and grab a tackle in Talanisa Fuaga. He immediately fills in there a right tackle over Jonah Williams, who is a free agent. But you could always improve upon that. He's a really good fit for Zach Taylor's offense, where you get a guy who has played in a very zone-heavy scheme, but he brings a lot of power. So we got him here. Seattle Seahawks, man. I looked for a trade here because I was like, you know what? From the Seahawks, I probably just want to move down. I really don't know what's going to be going on with that organization. Are they just going to try to get relatively younger and act like they're kind of in a mini rebuild, but hopefully with a quick turnaround? I don't know. I really don't know. I thought about, okay, we could look at the offensive line, and I went through, okay, what would I value here? Because if to me it was like, okay, it sucks that we saw Fuaga go, because I thought he could play guard, and if Abraham Lucas remains banged up or Charles Cross, then we could move Fuaga out to tackle when injury hits. Or I could go with Jackson Powers-Johnson, who I absolutely love, and I could have a guy that can play center, be my starting center, but also can play guard. Or you could just move him guard. I think he'll work well at guard in the NFL as well if they really like Oluwatimi out of Virginia. He was a 5th rounder that they just grabbed. Those are a few of the options that I thought, okay, Troy Fautanu, he also gives you that tackle versatility if you really want that, just in case, your tackles get hurt. So a little earlier than I would like to take him, but I understand that Fuaga just got sniped. I think I'm very okay with this. I like Fautanu. I think, this is a little early, but it's fine. I could have went Jerzon Newton. That was probably the other guy who was circling my head there. Seattle, honestly, I wish I could have traded down. Just couldn't find a partner that would trade up. But before we get to pick 17, let me shout out Underdog Fantasy. Thank you for being the sponsor of today's video. If you use promo code Broshmo when you sign up at Underdog Fantasy, they will match your first deposit up to $100 dues. That's right, it's the best place to play weekly best ball. My favorite is the higher or lower on player props. And it's not just football, they do all kinds of sports. So if you sign up, use promo code Broshmo, they will match that first deposit up to $100 dues. But please, my friends, bet wisely, bet within your means, bet responsibly. Pick 17, Jacksonville Jaguars. The easy pick here is Brian Thomas. I love picking Brian Thomas here for the Jags. Okay, what if they franchise Calvin Ridley? It's like, okay, maybe we could address the offensive line, but Jackson Powers-Johnson's definitely a thought here. But let's maybe go in a different direction. We saw a ton of coverage busts last year. Actually, during the second half of the season by the Jags defense after playing really good in the first half. So what if fishes were wishes? Then we'd be in an ocean, right? Let's go with corner. How about we do corner? Darius Williams is on the final year of his contract. And honestly, Bulky loves stupid athletes. Terrion Arnold is a stupid good athlete. He's an elite level athlete. He's someone who's probably going to go a lot higher. I guess than where I have him. He's inside my top 20. So, but I mean, if he goes in the top 10, it wouldn't shock me because again, he is that level of athlete. He just needs a little bit more polish. You could start him immediately in the slot because that's the one thing he kind of has over a few of the other guys is experience in the slot. So you can start him immediately there and then kick him outside after Williams leaves. So we're going to go with Arnold here, which means here I am with the Indianapolis Colts. Everything worked out. It worked out well. I'm just going to go ahead and grab someone who I think has the highest floor at the corner position in Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think he's going to be, I honestly think the bust rate on him is very low. I think he's going to just come in and be a really good football player. So you're going to be pairing him up with Juju Brents there on the outside. Los Angeles Rams. I thought I could get fancy with the trade down. Couldn't find a buyer for the right price. So instead, I just grabbed Jared Verse. He's still here on the board. I think it's a good get. You're gonna pair his he's one of the most powerful rushers in this class, but he's also very explosive, very good athlete. But you're going to pair it up with the redonkulous speed on the outside of Byron Young, and you're going to try to complete that defensive line. Pittsburgh Steelers thought about going corner. Nate Wiggins still on the board here. Instead, ultimately, I settled on, hey, this is a team that's really trying to improve that offensive line. Let's grab the toolsy of Marius Mims, similar to what they did last year with Broderick Jones, and just try to get back to being a feared offensive line in the NFL. Feared offensive line, a feared run game. Let's get back to Steeler football. And it's a good corner class. Maybe you get one in the second round. My Miami Dolphins. I'd be willing to pull the trigger on Jackson Powers Johnson here. Or I could do the right thing and move down and pick up picks, because I think they have, a first and a second, right? Yeah. And then after that, after pick 53, our next pick isn't until 158. So let's try to get some draft capital. Kansas City likes to move up for their guy. We've seen them do this plenty of times. Actually, I think in 2022, they actually moved from 29 to 21. So I used actually a very similar trade value. So the Dolphins are going to give 21. We're going to get pick 29. We're going to get pick 92. So now we have a third round pick. And we're also going to pick up 129. So now we get a third and a fourth. And oh man, it's like we're playing with a full deck of cards again in this draft. I wouldn't mind this as for the Dolphins. So we're going to go ahead and send that through. Y'all already know what Kansas City's moving up for. Let's get in on the second tier of wide receivers before anyone else. I'm going to take Brian Thomas. Absolutely phenomenal athlete. 17 touchdowns this past season. Just really good. Nate Wiggins is here for the Philadelphia Eagles. How can I not take cornerback help? Their cornerback room, their defensive backfield sucked this year. Especially in the back half of the season. I know part of that was injuries, but even when some of those guys were healthy, the play wasn't great. You could put it on the play calling, but regardless, you gotta get more talent in that room. Some people will make a case, maybe offensive line. No. Give me something that can be more of an immediate impact. If I want to grab a guy that won't see the field for a year or two, then cool, I'll do it in day 2. But give me someone who can be a contributor from day 1. Don't know the futures of Darius Slay, James Bradbury. You don't really know what you got in Eli Ricks and what do they got? Josh Jobe back there. Oh, I'm sure there's someone else I'm missing, but it's Georgia. Why can't I think of him? Ringo. So yeah, just add more talent. Those guys are unproven. Go ahead, just invest in more talent. Phenomenal athlete, Nate Wiggins. He won't be 20, or he'll be 20 at the beginning of the NFL season. So you're getting one of the youngest prospects in this class who is a phenomenal athlete. Houston Texans. I was looking at Drazon Newton and I was like, man, this is good value for him. I was looking at the Texans offensive line, and really it's just Malik Collins that's going to be back after this season, because Rankins is a free agent and whatnot. So just D'Amico Ryans, he's coming from the 49ers. They love defensive line depth. I think they brought in Tier Tart, but he's going to be a free agent. Are they going to bring him back? Maybe if the price is right. So let's go ahead. Let's get some more guys on that interior. Drazon Newton, good pick here. All right, I'm here with the Dallas Cowboys, and I kind of already knew what I was going to do here. I was like, I'm probably just going to take offensive line. And then I'm looking at okay, who could be maybe a team that wants to move up for Liatu Latu, who's here available at 24. It's just really good value. Again, if everything checks out well with the neck, he might not test top tier, but this dude's an exceptionally good technician. He is definitely worth a top 20 pick, in my opinion. So maybe someone wants to move up, and I was like, okay, man, maybe Tampa Bay can move up. We've seen teams here in the 20s like move up like a couple of spots because it's relatively cheap to do so and just go ahead, grab their guy before anyone else can move up to that spot. So I'm going to do that with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm actually going to move from 26 to 24, and the Bucks are going to give them pick 126, so it's going to cost a fourth rounder. So there we go. And I mean, for the Cowboys, if you are looking at an offensive line, there's so many good prospects on the board. Like, it's a very good offensive line draft. You could be like, let's just grab some extra capital, for day 3. As I said, Tampa Bay, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take Latu, get some help at pass rush. Before we get to pick 25, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below, where we have that nice, beautiful, football discourse. If you don't know, I've been recently releasing my new prospect rankings for the 2024 NFL draft. So go ahead, take a look at those. I have quarterbacks, safeties, corners, and running backs currently out, and I'm going to pump out a lot this week, trying to get all that out before the Senior Bowl. But here we are with the Green Bay Packers, and all those corners are now off the board. That sucks. I like going corner for Green Bay, so I was like, where else can I go? And then I was like, looking, I was like, man, you know what? Josh Myers is in the last year of his rookie deal, and honestly, he hasn't been great. Like, honestly, he was actually pretty solid during the playoffs, but like prior to that, not great. I don't think they hold on to him, and even if they do, like, they have an opening at right guard with John Runyon. So this is actually where I'm going to take Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon. He could play center. He was phenomenal at center, the best center in football, in college football this past season, but he also played guard the year prior and was pretty good there as well. So we're going to snag him here. Dallas Cowboys. I would have loved to get Jackson Powers Johnson, but that doesn't break the bank for me. It doesn't. I'm going to snag someone I'm really high on in this tackle class in Jordan Morgan. I love the movement skills. He's got some power in that frame as well. Depending on the length, he might end up being more of a guard prospect. We'll find out at the Senior Bowl, where they will measure that out. We'll see that arm length. Is it plus 33? Then we got ourselves a tackle. But even if you don't, you can move Tyler Smith to tackle, which he was very good at his rookie year. You have Jordan Morgan play left guard, or vice versa. It gives you options, and I like it. Who doesn't like options? Who doesn't? Okay, the Arizona Cardinals, we moved back, grabbed extra picks, then took Cooper DeJean. And actually, I'm just going to keep drafting athletes for this squad. Like, I was like, okay, let's go edge here. I also thought actually T'Vondre Sweat was a thought here I kind of liked. But they pick early enough on day 2 where it's like that could be a possibility if he makes it to day 2, of course. So maybe let's go in on this edge class before, because it runs dry really quick. Like, I think early into the second round, it's going to be pretty barren for the remainder of day 2. So let's go in on this edge class, but I like Braylon Trice. That's who I have next on the board. Or I could take Chris Braswell, who's just an absolute nutty athlete with really good length. And that's what I'm going to do. I think we already went in on one really good athlete in Cooper DeJean. We're going to do it again with Chris Braswell. I like it. I love it. Buffalo Bills, they unfortunately went down to the Kansas City Chiefs. It is what it is. Sorry, Bills. Maybe next year. They were missing Gabe Davis. They tried to go vertical a couple of times with Diggs. Didn't really get the same effect. So this kind of leads me to believe this pick could be, very likely could be, a vertical option at the receiver position, with Gabe Davis being a free agent. Question is, what vertical target do you want? Troy Franklin, Glad McConkey, Devontae Walker, A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Leggett, Xavier Worthy, Jermaine Burton. Like, there's a lot of them. I'm going to go with Troy Franklin. He's very young. He is continued to put good weight on, but the difference between him and some of the other guys is how good of a route runner he is. I mean, AD Mitchell would probably be close here if you're looking for a good vertical target with really good launch speed and also is a good route runner. Like, it would be close. It would be close. I give the edge to Franklin, so I'm just going to go ahead and snag him here for the Bills. My Miami Dolphins, I could go offensive line, but we just grabbed some extra draft capital. I'm feeling good. This offensive line class is actually pretty deep. So why not maybe address another position of need? You know, Xavier Howard's getting expensive. I don't think he's with the team maybe after this season. Is Cam Smith ready to be a starter who they drafted last year in the second round? I think, if anything, he might end up being a slot player for us. Kader Kohu continue, like, if he doesn't have, if essentially he has the season like he did this past year, granted he played on the outside quite a bit, but still it wasn't the same production we saw his rookie season. So, like, yeah, maybe Cam Smith ends up being a slot guy, some package guy, but let's get someone on the outside that would be a good complement to the Dolphins system. And to me, that guy actually is the seldom talked about TJ Tampa. I love the length, I love the size, better yet, I love the movement skills. We're gonna grab him for the Miami Dolphins. Fins up, baby. Detroit Lions. Congratulations, Detroit Lions. You're going to be going to the NFC Championship game to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Good luck. Good luck. We're trading this pick. You're not going to have a pick in the first round, but hey, go beat them Niners. Go beat them Niners. So we're actually going to move out of the first round just to grab some extra picks. Tis what it is. And this is actually where I'm going to have the New England Patriots make a play to move up. And we'll talk about the pick there. But they're going to make a play to move up. And we're going to give pick 35. So their second rounder, we're going to give them pick 103. I think that's actually technically a third or a fourth. I can't remember. And we're going to give them pick 181 to move up that spot. Yay. Now, I knew I couldn't move up with the Bills or the Dolphins, or at least it would be very unlikely, especially with the Dolphins already trading back. But we could do it here with Detroit, and we could take our quarterback of the future, hopefully God willing, in JJ McCarthy, a guy who is going to but he's going to interview exceptionally well, but you know he's a really good athlete. We've seen some dots on tape, but he is a tough evaluation because it's hard to have a complete evaluation on him from what we've seen. We've seen a lot of bright spots. We know he's going to have an A+ personality. And if we need to give him a little more time in the oven, then that's fine. He can sit next year if you really want him to, because you trade it up for relatively cheap and you get that 5th-year option on him. So you don't have to start him out right away next season. But if you do, at least he has Marvin Harrison to throw to. There we go. San Francisco 49ers. You can talk about offensive line. It's a pick I often do. I'm going to switch it up here. I'm actually going to go with the corner position. I'm going to go with Quinion Mitchell. I think he's a really good fit for the Niners defense there. Get that true cornerback 2 outside of Javarius Ward. You have Diamador Lenoir, who is a very solid player, but I think he's more of a corner 3, corner 4 type of guy, but still a really good player to have. You want to have depth, competition, and talent there at the corner position. And Quinion Mitchell gives you just that. Now we're going to wrap up this mock draft. I was thinking about going corner here. I thought about going with Kamari Lassiter. Was it Lassiter? Yeah, it was probably Lassiter. Let me look at the other corner options. Lassiter, it would have probably been Lassiter. Rakestraw. Let me see him at the Senior Bowl first before I make a decision on how high I want to push this guy. I'm not going to push him in the first round like a lot of people do. right now. Not to say that they're wrong. It's just I'm not there yet when it comes to it. We could go edge. You still got Braylon Trice here on the board. You got Clowney and Van Noy as a free agent. But I'm going to look to the trenches specifically. I'm going to look at the tackle position because Ronnie Stanley, he's been hurt almost every season. Morgan Moses is old. So you can take a swing on a guy. And everyone's talking Tyler Guyton up, and with good reason. Because he is probably the best athlete among the tackle class. And he's got great size, great length. I just don't feel like he's ready to start from day one. And if the Ravens pick him here, really doesn't have to. He probably only steps in when Stanley or Morgan Moses is hurt, which is fine. That's a good place where he can sit and just develop and be ready to be a full-time starter in year 2. So we're going to snag him here, and that's the mock draft. All right, so there it is for y'all. Y'all let me know what you think. Y'all let me know. Was this outrageous? I try to keep every pick within reason, but I want to do at least a little something different here and there. Maybe get a few fresh names in there. Look at a few possibilities. I really wanted to include JJ McCarthy in this one because I really do think he's probably going to go in the first round, and I think we could see him anywhere. Like once we get to like pick 21, maybe you make a case the Rams take him at 19, maybe. But I think they might be looking more to like, let's get a player that could help us now to make that Super Bowl push. But like from pick 20, like you're gonna be talking about teams move up to get that 5th-year option on him because like if he stayed another year, he'd probably end up being my quarterback 1 in 2025 because the talent's there with him. So I really wanted to include him in this mock. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. As always, until next time, be easy, my friends. Later.